Yeah, just say okay. That's the only thing you got to worry
Got it.
about.
Got
All
it.
right.
You want me to
Let me
hit
make
got it?
sure.
Yeah, okay, that's
She
okay.
doesn't have a live.
Okay,
You have
we
a
got
live
it.
stream?
All right. Let me just make sure it's working on website.
I think you guys should wear hats too.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Otherwise,
Have them model.
Right, yarmulkes?
I'm not
Have
wearing
them
it.
model. All right, so I'm gonna let all the other folks in. They're gonna be muted at the beginning, and then we'll let them unmute at some point. Hey, everybody! Oh, look at Shelly. She got her old special, wonderful thing there. You know, that's great.
Here.
And Andrea, I just want to check. Did we light the in town?
Yes.
Okay, good. No, there was actually. I'm glad. I think actually Nat's on the call tonight. Nat came to the rescue once again, because as I was there in the middle of the day, I noticed that none of the lights were on, and they were putting up the Christmas tree earlier in the day. And I think they, either unplugged something or tripped the wire. So Nat sent one of his guys over, and they very quickly made sure everything was working properly. And
All right, but they didn't put the shamus back on, because I had to do that when I went.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. So doesn't that feel nice? If it wasn't for you, Andrew, there'd be no light in Sag Harbor today. That's what it comes down to.
Heavy burden to carry.
Very good. All right. Well, Chag Urim Sameach, a very, very happy Hanukkah to everybody who's joining us, both those that are on the Zoom with us and those that are watching at home. And tonight we are really very lucky. We have some wonderful people joining me to light our Chanukiah, and are representing not just themselves, but a wonderful group within the temple. And before I introduce them, just again, my gratitude to Shelly and to Eileen, who helped to arrange all of this stuff and get it all working. And again, the idea here is to introduce those that know our community and those that maybe don't know it so well to some of the really wonderful leaders of the various things that make a temple work. It is certainly not just one person, two people. It's a whole lot of people for many years, including years long before I was even in Sag Harbor. And while there are 4 in your screen right now, because we want to give a full credit to the families, I want to welcome Andrea and Neil Fagan, and I want to welcome Marilyn and Roger Liu, who are joining us this evening. And Neil and Roger, I think you guys, you can wave to the camera and then you can go relax in the corner if you'd like to, or you could stay by, whichever you'd like. Okay. And I hope you'll take no offense, but the reason why we're letting them go is because we're really highlighting Andrea and Marilyn and the work that they have done for years, leading our Niddah Mitzvah group at the temple. So Andrea and Marilyn, maybe you could just, yes, I think a round of applause. We have some others on our call for tonight for sure. But maybe you could just tell us a minute, what is Niddah Mitzvah about? When did it begin, and what is its goal? And then I was just going to say, could you show off some of the wares?
On one of our knitted hats. We've been doing this, I don't know for how long. I think it's about 8 years. And we have about 100 of these hats that we're going to present to the food pantry in about 2 weeks. And they're going to give them out to their clients as Christmas gifts. And then Marilyn will tell you about our other project.
We knit wheelchair bags, where it's a bag that hangs over the arm, and also a bag that hangs over. If somebody doesn't want it on the wheelchair, they can put it on whatever. They can put it on a walker, they can put it on themselves, just for a phone and tissues. And we're going to be probably giving about 60 or 70. We've been doing it through COVID, and you can just make any design, and just the camaraderie. It's really fun. We feel really good about it. So we've enjoyed it a lot.
I don't understand how we have such a large amount, because we're only 5 regulars and we're about 8 irregulars. I don't know how the quantity comes.
Well, as I recall, right, the story goes, there was only one little bit of oil and it lasted for 8 days. So you guys are a miracle, right? You're a miracle group. You produce beyond, right? That was a layup. You just gave me that one. That was perfect. No, but in all truth, Andrea, Marilyn, thank you for all that you do as part of the Niddah Mitzvah group. And I know there are others who are on the call tonight as well, and some of those who were part of it for many years and who moved away. But these were really, in addition to the mitzvah part of it, which is of course the main impetus, the main reason why you're gathered together, there was always this other element that I just deeply appreciated, which is the connections that you have made, the friendships that you have made over the years of doing this mitzvah work. And as I was just saying to Andrea and Marilyn, one of the things I really miss about being back in the temple and things just sort of being normal was how pretty much every Monday I would come in, and have our staff meeting. I'd come out, and then there was this wonderful group of people who I could see smiling and engaging, and I, jokingly said I was their hat model for many years, and I somehow or another, it looks like that you've been doing just fine without me, but I miss those moments. I look forward to the moments of being back together in that space in our new fancy social hall, where you'll have plenty of opportunities to spread out and do that wonderful work that you do. But it really is so important, and it shows just how much our temple community really tries to think about, certainly taking care of each other, but also really thinking beyond that, and connecting certainly to the food pantry in Sag Harbor, which is so important. And during these cold winter months where those hats are so appreciated, and of course, understanding, especially for people who are wheelchair bound, it really is a necessity to have that bag. I mean, without it, it is a really complicated thing. And when you need your life to be a little bit less complicated, it's there. And I just think, really, again, so wonderful and such a privilege to have you guys in that leadership capacity and helping us in so many ways. So one last question for you before we move on to the next part. How can people get involved if they would like to get involved these days? What does Nida Mitzvah look like? And is there anything you'd like to share in that vein? Is that something even possible, or did I just put you on the spot?
Oh, anybody who's interested, just give us a jingle or send us an email. We meet at my house now. We met at the temple, as you said, on Mondays always before. And since the pandemic, we actually last year we met outside through December.
Wow.
But now we're back in the house.
All right. Well,
Interested, anybody who wants to learn to knit, we're here.
Also resuming.
so I might have to come join you on one of those Mondays. I didn't realize, that you were teaching. That's a whole nother skill set. I got fumbly fingers, but
Monday.
Well, I think that sounds really great. Just the key is, if anybody is interested, don't just show up at the door. Please do contact Andrea or Marilyn before you show up, get the lay of the land and everything. But again, really, thank you guys for everything that you are doing. Now, before we light the candles, thanks very much again to our wonderful Eileen, who put together several nights worth of really interesting Hanukkah facts. I hope everybody tonight has their mozzarella sticks after we learned last night that really we should be eating fried cheese, which was probably my favorite Hanukkah fact of all time. So I'm going to just put up a little image here, because this one will probably surprise all of us. So this is a wonderful representation of the Hebrew calendar. Okay, guys, whoever's, just make sure we're not unmuting. Shelley, just make sure that everybody else stays muted so that we don't, just for now, and then we'll unmute later. So here is our fact for tonight. As you'll see here, there is a little image of the moon, because the Jewish calendar is indeed a lunar calendar. Here we have the Gregorian calendar that we're much more familiar with. And then here around it, we have the holidays of, the months of the Jewish calendar. And so the fact for this evening is that you may be surprised to know, Hanukkah never begins on a Tuesday. Never begins on a Tuesday. I don't know what everybody's got against Tuesdays. It's my day off, but you should know the dates of Hanukkah are determined by our Hebrew calendar, which means that they change each year. Hanukkah can fall anytime between late November and late December, as it begins in the evening of Kislev on the 25th. So this is the 9th month according to the Jewish calendar, and the 25th day of that month in the evening, that is the beginning of Hanukkah. Now, why is this the case? Because the high holidays, which really set the calendar for the rest of the year, can only begin on 4 out of 7 of the week. Hanukkah can therefore begin on any day of the week besides Tuesday. That's because the month before Hanukkah, which you'll see here is called Cheshvan, can either have 29 or 30 days. And that means that Hanukkah can start on any day of the week except for a Tuesday. Now, I am 100% trusting Eileen on this one, because I must have failed the Jewish calendar piece of rabbinical school. I just go to websites that tell me when and I should be doing what. But I think that is fascinating. And I trust her to the end. And I think, I feel bad for Tuesday as a starting night, but it gets its time, right? No matter what, a Tuesday will still celebrate the holiday. But in any case, there is your fun Hanukkah fact for our third night of Hanukkah. Okay, we got an applause from Marcia. That's good. We're learning all sorts of things. Now, okay, so Andrea and Marilyn, we're going to get started in a second with the lighting piece. As we did last night with Howard and Ann, I'm going to sing the blessings. You guys are going to do the lighting. So 2 really quick reminders or a little teaching, okay? So the first is that wonderful Shmash that you've got in the center, right? You're going to light that when I tell you to. you're going to wait until after I sing the first blessing, and then you'll begin lighting, starting from the candle that's closest to the shamash and working out towards the edge. Okay, that part is cool. Yes. Okay. Now another thing that I didn't teach last night. This is it falls into the category of somewhere between custom and law as far as the approach to lighting the menorah. So you might have noticed, and you might have actually grown up doing this, where after you've lit all of the candles, in order to get the shamash safely back in and firm, one usually lights the bottom of the candle to get it waxy and then puts it in and then it solidifies. So the only thing that you're not supposed to do is to use the top of the candles that you've already lit in order to do that. Now, why is that the case? So the reason is there's a thing that you're actually supposed to say in Hebrew, some amount of Aramaic, after you light the candles, which says in effect that the purpose of the candles is not to be used for anything other than looking at them and appreciating them and being reminded of the miracle. And what that means basically is that you're not supposed to use them to heat your house. You're not supposed to use them as the primary means of lighting your house. You're not supposed to use them for the purposes of melting the wax, anything else. You're really just supposed to look at them and appreciate them for simply what they are. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to come to everybody's house and start changing everything around and telling you that you're wrong. It's simply a way of understanding what the purpose is of the Hanukkah and what the purpose is of the lights themselves. And they really are meant to be solely a reminder of the nace of the miracle that took place. But in this case, however it happens, don't worry, guys, you're going to do great. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can light the shamash candle. And then again, I'll do that first blessing. And then you can start lighting, starting from closest to the shamash, working your way out.
I guess you're supposed to hold it.
Okay. Yeah, so you can hold the shamash in your hands, and if you guys want to take turns, it's up to you. Okay, so wait before I'll do the first blessing, and then you guys can start. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Hanukkah. Now you can go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem b'zman hazeh. Amen. All right, let's sing one song. We'll sing one song. Hey. Ma'os tur Yeshuati lechana el shabeach tikon beit tefilati v'sham toda nezabeach li'etachin matbeach mitzar hamenabeach az egmor b'shir mizmor Hanukkah tamizbeach, az egmor b'shir mizmor, Hanukkah tamizbeach. This is one of those examples of when I was a kid, I learned the song by hearing my dad sing it. And I only realized many years later when my Hebrew got well enough that I was getting probably 50% of the words wrong because I was just going by what I heard. So this is a good example, all these classic songs. It's important to learn the words of them if you can. So if you don't have these lyrics, by the way, for future nights, you can go to reformjudaism.org. It's a wonderful website, it has all these things available, which is great. Now, before we turn the streaming off, but we'll welcome everybody who's on the Zoom to stick around and we can kibitz a little bit. Andrea, is there anything about the Hanukkah that you have in front of you that is special to the Fagan family? Any story, anything in particular?
Actually, this is the one that was presented to the temple by our friends in honor of Neil's 60th birthday. And we just have Neil brought it home for safekeeping during the renovation, but this belongs in the temple. Hopefully next year we'll be lighting it in the temple.
Amen to that. Amen v'amen, as they say. But that's really great, though. So who were the friends that donated, just out of curiosity?
The Newmarks were one of them. And Richard and Judy Schultz, I think they were before your time. And I think there was another couple there, and I don't remember. Yes, I do. Dells.
Well, we thank them all those years later, and maybe some pictures of Neil at 60, I think, would be a great thing for everybody to enjoy. But that's wonderful. And yes, next year in the temple, we'll bring it there, and it will be really a wonderful thing to do. So again, can we get a round of applause for Andrea and Marilyn and for all of our members of the Niddah Mitzvah group for everything that you guys do and for being a part of our experience tonight. Reminder again, tomorrow night and through the rest of the holiday, 6 o'clock, you can join us. The only one to just remember is that on Friday night, it will be live streamed as part of our regular services at the beginning of the service. So it won't be on Zoom. You just go to our website or YouTube or Facebook to be able to watch. Now, one last thing, and Shelley, maybe you can unmute and help us because I don't have it in front of me. What is our third night Social Justice Committee opportunity? If you have it in front of you, would be great. And if not, we'll give you a second to figure it out. And just there you go. All right, let's bring Shelley.
I don't have it, but actually it's not by the night. It's really, there are 8 of them and it was sent with this link. And if you're dropping off toys, one of them is toys, you can sign up. There was a link for that. And we're going to be getting them this Sunday. We'll be collecting them. And also new coats or gently used coats we're going to give to the children at the Children's Museum. We're collecting canned food for Ola. They asked us to bring that. And then we're also helping with the Israel for the food pantry that they have there, Leket, and then Adopt a Family for the retreat. So they're really fabulous opportunities for every family to choose all 8, choose one, whatever works for you. We appreciate it. So thank you.
That's
Shelley,
great.
what was the drop-off time on Sunday? Because I think
From
it was,
1 till 3.
oh, see, some places it said 3 to 5.
Right, but we changed it. It's 1 till 3 because we have a teen party happening, Hanukkah party at 3 to 5. So
Okay.
it's 1 till 3.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Shelley. So thank you, everybody, again, who's been watching on the stream. We're going to turn that off at this point, but anybody who's on the Zoom would like to stick around for a little bit, you are more than welcome. Again, Chag Urim Sameach, Chag Hanukkah Sameach to all of you and to your loved ones.